Oh, okay, it's going. It's doing. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Sarah, and I don't know, I haven't streamed in a good long minute, and I have shit all over my glasses. Hang on. This is important. I have to be able to see. So I've been up for about an hour now, and it's Monday, and I decided that today was finally going to be the day that I talk a little bit about my trip to Tokyo, and I figured it was a great occasion to assemble. Here, I'll show it for just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna assemble this guy. Yeah, I found this kit, which I'm super excited about, on like the bottom shelf in the models like hobby section of Tokyu Hands in Shibuya, and I had to buy it. Like, there's no way I wasn't going to bring this thing home. It looks like noodle. It's like a noodle kin. Like, look at those eyes. And it's a rover, and I'm guessing that this right here means that it's solar powered too, and then there's gears here, so I think there's all sorts of complicated things going on inside of this little kit, which gets me excited, but it's a hybrid noodle beast that looks like it belongs on Mars, and it has wheels, so I don't know. I haven't opened it up yet, so I have no idea like what the scale of this thing is going to be, or what it's supposed to do once I'm done putting it together. But at the very least, it looks super cute. And I love the box art. Anyhow, how are you guys doing now that I can see? Hello, Rob and James. How are you guys doing this morning, or afternoon, or whatever? Morning for me. And like, this is one of the first days that I've actually gotten up when I normally wake and don't feel entirely jet lagged, so I figure this is a good time to actually get my life back on its normal schedule. Alright, before I get too carried away, let me make sure. Does the mic sound okay? I don't even know what mic I'm using right now. Ah, the built-in one. Does this sound better, or does this sound better? Just yell at me. If this sounds worse, just say, no, this sounds like shit, Sarah, make it go back, and I'll switch it back to the laptop. I really do need to get a better mic for streaming. Like, I have a really good second mic for the purpose of recording audio for my, like, actual, like, I don't know what you'd call those, updates, I guess? But I don't think I can plug that thing into my laptop and use it as an actual live microphone. Oh, first one. Okay, thank you. That's exactly the response I needed, Rob. This sounds like shit, Sarah. Okay, going back to the laptop one. Okay, cool. That's all I needed to know. Ooh, evening. Cool. Well, hello in the UK. I wish I was in the UK. Anyhow, so I'm gonna wait just another minute or two, and then I'll open this thing up and see what's inside of it. I think the thing that I can do before I start actually building this guy is show you one of the other things I bought while I was in Tokyo that I'm incredibly excited about because it's absurd as hell, but of course it is. So I have this affinity for like bulls and oxes, kind of. Like, it's the nickname of one of my friends. And I noticed once I got to Tokyo, or just Japan in general, that on the front of restaurants and buildings, it was common that you found like the icon of a bull or a cow or a steer or whatever, which is basically like visually communicating to everyone that like, hey, wow, you can eat this here in this place, come in and have the cow bowl for food. And I get it and everything, but I was just surprised how often I saw that. So I was taking pictures of like all these ox bowls like on the outside of buildings, and I was sending them to my friend who has this nickname. And on my very last day while I was in Japan, I decided that I wanted to go find toy stores. And I had already been in like a crap ton of adult toy stores, you know, with like anime and like booby statue girls and stuff. But I hadn't been to any legitimate like kid toy stores, like for children with toys. So I found one like on Google Maps nearby, and I like marched straight to that location. And I was super happy that I did this because I found all of the most delightfully like cool, unusual stuff. I mean, yeah, I do look at toys here in America quite a bit. I found things that they were in a category completely different and unique to what you'd find in a toy store here in the States. So I bought a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't get this there. I got this at, again, Tokyu Hands in their model kit section. But let me grab what I did find, and it's relative to what I was saying about all the cows, all the oxen. Okay, I have it. It's in my hot little hands. Okay, so this came from Tokyu Hands, this cute little like noodle rover, and then I found this at the toy store, the kids' toy store, and I'll just give you a minute to look at this and absorb what you're seeing. Just because this is gold right here. This is my favorite thing that I bought while I was there. And it's essentially a meat puzzle. Isn't that amazing? It has little meat pieces in the cow, including its tongue, and you can pull them out of its body and you have to fit them back together. Like, this is teaching kids that, like, this is your food, and it's adorable, by the way, but, like, these are the different pieces of your food that you would eat, and it comes with a fucking plate with lemon and a garnish. So you can pull the meat out of this cow, this like ox right here, and you can put it on your little plate. This is him, by the way. He's adorable, and I had to assemble him, and all of these little meat pieces kind of like, I'm not going to pull them all out because they're a pain in the ass to like figure out how to get back in. But here, let's pull this one out. Oh god. No! Come back. So you can pull out its meat. And the cool part about this is you might have figured out by looking at the box, but if you rub the meat, it will change colors. It goes from like red to cooked brown color. So you can take the red meat and like with the heat of your body, oh man, to really rub it. There you go. It turns like this brownish beige, like kind of cooked color, which is insane. Hey, Pavel! I just saw that you're in here. How are you doing? Aren't you? You're in Japan too, aren't you? And it is, yeah. Tokyu Hands is the greatest store of all time. I agree. I spent like 3 hours in there, and probably could have spent more. And I spent a lot of money, like a obese, morbid amount of money. If you rub the meat, it changes colors. Yes. So, okay, so I just rubbed this sufficiently, and it changed this kind of like brown color, I guess. Which is cool, because this in and of itself is amusing. All by itself, it's a fucking meat puzzle, but you can change the color of the meat and then put it on your little plate right there. Like here, this is filet mignon. I don't know. I'm super satisfied with my purchase. This was the best find, like for sure. And his little cheek comes out, and his tongue, I think, changes colors too. But yeah. As much as I really do, like, see, you can see how much it changed color from what it was. As much as I have this like sincere affection for like oxes and bulls, I still really like to eat meat. Like, I'm not by any means a vegetarian, so I have this weird relation to the bovine variety. And if you flip this guy over, you can see his he has a skull. Wow, it's kind of washed out in the camera. Man, there. You can see that he has a legit, like, cow face skull, which is cool and creepy. This is gold. I love him. So anyhow, I'm gonna put this guy right here with his little plate, and I'm going to go back to this because this is the star of this episode of ROBOHEMIAN. Oh, hi Vigray! I am streaming again. I don't feel horrible and jet lagged and behind in life, so I'm back for now until I get too busy again. But for the time being, I feel on top of my life, so I can do things like this and feel good. If you rub the heat, it changes color. It's a fucking neat puzzle with the heat of you. Ha! Yes, no, James, we're not talking about my other project. Just stuff of interest from Japan. I want to go back, by the way. Like, I'm already starting to plan a trip back next year because it was far less expensive than I imagined it would be. Like, if I knew it was this cheap, not that it's cheap, but if I knew it was this affordable, I probably would have gone years ago. Granted, the prices might have been different, like 5 years ago. It might have been exchange rate-wise a different story, but it was well within my very modest budget as a human being to do this trip. I mean, granted, like, having the airfare picked up for me helped, but I think if I saved my cornflakes and my peas properly, I could probably afford to go back, like, at the same time next year. So fingers crossed that I can work that out. Because yeah, as much as I saw, I still, I mean, obviously feel like I barely scratched the surface. And yeah, I didn't get to see the giant Gundam yet. So yeah, I need to go back just to see the giant Gundam. It's like on its own island, so if you want to get there, I think you have to taxi to it. I don't think the train subway system goes to it, maybe? Because everyone just said, oh yeah, it's like a $30 cab ride, and I was like, that's expensive both ways. Maybe not. But yeah, I don't know. There's stuff I need to do. I didn't eat sushi. That's a weird confession to make. The entire time I was in Tokyo, I didn't have any sushi. And I'm very disappointed in myself to be admitting this. I did eat a lot of other amazing Japanese food. Many of those things, I have no idea what they were, which is a bummer, because if I couldn't find them if I tried now that I'm back home, or get them again if I went back over there, because I don't know what to ask for. But sushi was not among the things I had. Yeah. So naturally, I do have to go back. And I'm not sick with everything. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, you're right, Vi. I'm not sick with everything. I don't want to think about that time. What was that, March? Which wasn't really that long ago? Is it June? March. It was 2 months ago. Yeah. Fuck it. It's just starting to get hot here in Vegas. Meat cutout says rare. Pavel says the words below the meat cutout say rare to well done. Ah. I'm guessing that's this. Probably. I know 0% Japanese, so all of this was just like magic mystery box to me. I mean, I kind of extrapolated that that's what it did, but I still wasn't completely sure until I got it home and opened it up and like rubbed the meat in my hot little hands. Con flu. No more getting sick. I have too much to do. I'll tell you about that eventually, but for now that I've gotten into it, I'm gonna sip my coffee and then open this box. I don't know how fast this will go, because, again, I haven't opened it yet. I don't know what its contents are. I'm assuming that this picture here means that this little guy has some mechanical, like, planetary gear doodad inside of his body that I need to put together. I don't know. We'll see. Oh man, okay, so I did see on the back of this thing that it wants me to use nipper cutters, so I went ahead and grabbed the nipper cutters, and there's stuff in here. There's like a gear thing. I'm also, by the way, before I open this up, kind of surprised how inexpensive this guy was. If you look on the price tag, it says 1,800 yen, which I think is roughly $18. So it was under 20 bucks for this nice little kit, which, again, if I were a kid buying this, this is not a lot of money to spend on something that would literally have made me lose my mind back when I was like, you know, 8, 9, 10 years old, and probably would have kept me busy for an entire weekend. When I was growing up, I don't recall having access to anything like this, or if there was anything like this, it was like upwards of $100 or more back when I was growing up. So I'm very, very envious of what kids have available to them in Tokyo. So I guess there's going to be an orange, a dark, and a white, I don't know what you'd call that, injection mold, like skeleton thing. Can I just peel this off? Oh. And if this takes like 2 seconds to assemble, I apologize. I'll keep talking, I'll find something else to do if that's the case, but we'll see. There's a whole bunch of Gundam kits there, obviously. I went to Akihabara and they had stores with just like a million like hobby kits that I could assemble if I so wanted, of like all the different giant Japanese robots that are out there. I don't even know if all of them are technically Gundams. But there was a lot of them, and I don't know, I kind of wanted to get something that I knew had working parts, because, I don't know, like, a robot that doesn't do anything other than pose is kind of boring. Noodle's like, hey, mommy, that's me right now. I wanted to get something that had some aspect, some mechanical component to it, so once I saw this, I was kind of sold. Alright, I think those were the two main sticky things. Okay. Do they have stuff that cheap in America? Not really. Caleb, the toys in America, toys are really weirdly not cheap here. Anything that has some sort of like you have to assemble it, or it has some sort of mechanical component or electronic component to it, automatically becomes like unnecessarily expensive for some reason. Not in all cases, but I don't know. I find that toys do tend to be pricey for no reason, or pricier. I don't know. I don't know if that's just my perspective is off, because I remember how much they cost when I was an actual like little kid, and it was significantly less, but I know that the value of our money has also changed since then, so whatever. I guess point in case is there's nothing this cool that you can get here that I've found, because we don't do like cute chibi robot kits that look like Mars rovers. Come on. Fuck it. I'm like all trying not to hurt the box because I want to keep it. Sorry. Alright. And then there's the... Wow, those are really small. There's like a little baggie of gears in different colors, different shades of orange, and then there's a dark and orange injection molded thing. And then there's the instructions on how to assemble this little guy. Move the cute little box to the other table for now. Yeah, James, that's really inexpensive. Cool. Hi, All Might. Aside from price, I'd say Japan generally has a much more impressive variety of educational toys than anything I've seen in the USA. Yes, I second that, Pavel. That's exactly, yeah, exactly my opinion. I really, toys are super important to me as a human. I don't know, I think, I wish that when I was young I had access to more toys that I had an active part in altering or putting together or like changing in some way. I think that's what I needed most when I was growing up, and there was nothing like that available to me. So yeah, again, if I had access to stuff like this growing up, I don't know, I probably would have gotten into robotics a lot like earlier in life, because I would have known that it was available to me. Anyhow, oh shit, I'm going to need scissors. I mean, I could use the nipper cutters, but that would be embarrassing. Yeah, I can just rip the plastic. Alright. Put you here. Got orange. There's like a tiny little rod in here, which kind of excites me because that means that there's like metal components in this. There's one here and one there. And then some like little squishy things. This is so cool. I want to do life over again and be born in Japan and be like a toy designer. So here's the dark things. The other thing I'm kind of super bummed about, and this is another reason why I have to go back next year, is I didn't get anything, or I didn't find anything to buy from Meiwa Denki, who is like, I literally don't go fangirl over artists, really, like, but he's the one exception. If you don't know who he is, totally Google him. He's a roboticist, and his artist identity is a corporation that he made called Meiwa Denki. It's the name of the business, I guess, not technically his name. But he makes a bunch of little nonsense toys that are like mechanical and wind-uppy, and I found out who he was, or I learned about his work back when I was in college, and I have since kind of in some way modeled a lot of my own practice off of his body of work and his way of identifying as a mechanical engineer and artist. And I wanted to get one of his automatons, which is something that he created that's like this weird mouth rod thing that you can play like a guitar, but the body of it is like a face that you can squeeze, and it opens the mouth, and depending on how wide the mouth is open, it changes the pitch of the tone that you're playing. So you can play different tones like on the neck of the device, but you can also modify what's coming out of the mouth by how hard you squeeze it, which is, I'm sure the way I just described it, a whole wonderful load of nonsense for your ears. But I really wanted to get one of those there, and I did not find one. So yeah, I need to go back. And I didn't get to see any of his art. Like, if he was performing while I was there, I definitely would have found him and seen his work in real life. It is Noodle-like, Vi. It's like super, it's like if Noodle were a Martian rover. Noodle needs to raise this guy. You can be buddies. Can be his little friend. And yes, Microhex, I had a fucking awesome time in Japan. Again, planning my trip to go back, for sure. Alright, I'm gonna open this little thing right here, my instruction kit, and I'm going to try to discern what to do. So there is a solar cell here, which means that something's gonna happen. Something is gonna move. so this is an electronic kit. I don't see any other wiring, so I'm really curious to see how this is going to implement in the finished rover. So I'm going to open this up so you can see what I see. And I'm hoping this is IKEA style because I cannot read any of this. Okay, so here's all of my rods. So apparently it wants me to address all these little metal pieces and the tiny little gears that came with it. I don't think it's instructing me to do anything specific first. It's just like, these are your parts. So this is everything that's in the kit right here. It's like getting me acquainted with all of this stuff. And then it's like, hey, this is a solar cell, don't put it in your mouth. And this, okay, so here's where the assembly begins. So, all right. So it wants me to put that looks like that. Oh wow, okay. Wow, this just got like, shit got real, like right off the bat. All right, let's locate those parts. So I don't think that's any of these because it said I needed to clip them out of one of the things. Oh man. But what color of thing? Which my modern glue would come in? Aw. Okay, so I'm thinking those are the orange gears? How many teeth do those have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teeth. I need a 10 teeth gear. I'm thinking it's maybe one of these little guys. Yeah, I think that's one of those. Because there's like 3 points at which it's attached to the injection mold thing, and that's what it's showing here on in the instructions right there. So, and it has 10 teeth, I believe. Yes, okay. So I don't think that's these yet. No. Okay. All right, I'm pretty confident with that decision. And I need, I think, a piece that I think that's this piece right there that I'm sticking them into. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that loose. Okay, so I have a little nail file somewhere I need to dig out so I can shave off all these connection points. So somebody told me that the giant Gundam that's in Tokyo, next to it somewhere, there's an actual museum that shows the process of like the injection mold creation process and the kitting assembly like in the factories. And you can buy kits there, but you can actually see how they're like put together and made, which is very exciting to me. Right, so I need 2 of these gears. Don't hurt the gears, Sarah. Don't cut off the teeth. Man, I wish my 3D printer could print gears this tiny. Look how small that is. It's like... So, I spent 4 extra days in Japan. Well, I guess I can explain this first. I was there for a summit called the Future Innovators Summit, which is an event where I think it was Ars Electronica gets a bunch of artists together to talk about the future of like whatever the for us, it was the future of wearable tech, but we're basically speculating about how the future is going to be in one of 3 different categories. And we were just talking about mainly identity and what it's going to mean for humans to have a sense of identity in the future, either through fashion or just a sense of skin, and whether that's going to mean things that we actually wear or like augmented reality that we put on top of ourselves that we use to communicate our individuality. We like talked about stuff like that. And since I'm kind of getting into wearables that use body data to add another level of communication to daily life, this interested me a lot, just to kind of talk to other people and hear what they're thinking. Add some ideas to my head. Is that the right thing? Yes. And I think it wants me to cut out these little cap pieces to put on the end. I know they're 5. Whatever. I think that's what I need. So I was there with the Ars Electronica contingency. What do I mean by that? The posse of Ars Electronica artists, and we were doing artisty things and mingling and networking and talking about the future of stuff, which is kind of cool. Like, I enjoy that more than anything. I met a bunch of new people from different parts of the world and got my philosophy on for the weekend. And Noodle got to be on display as an actual piece of artwork during that time, which was great. It's the first time I've actually left him alone in a location over a period of time greater than like a day. So I set him up in the exhibit area and actually left him alone, which I've never done before, and I didn't even think about it. It didn't even matter. I was just like, you know what? You're gonna be okay. This is what you were made to do. You're safe. Nothing's going to happen. And I walked away, and it was fine. Okay, so these do go there. There's little capture nuts on the opposite end of these gears, and then these spin freely. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm guessing I have to repeat that with this other side. Yeah. Oh, nope, it's happening. Do I need to do that twice? Be sure I have to do that twice. Do I get ahead of myself? Do I do it to the other set? I'm sure that's what I have to do. Wow, this gets complicated fast. Look at that. Probably doesn't get complicated, it just feels like it does. Oh, look at the little motor. It's so cute. It's like... But yeah. So I did the summit. I put a video out about it. It was super, super awesome. Noodle got to pose and be in art, and then I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to myself in Tokyo, which was when I did all of my fun, crazy raptor stuff in the city. And I wore my backpack. I didn't actually wear the salmon fillet on my crotch or anything, because 1, I didn't have any way of mounting it to my crotch, and 2, that would have been weird. But I wore the backpack, and that went over well, because it's just like a shiny thing that blinks, and it's visually like, ooh-ah. So I got a good response to that. One of the nights I went out with my group, it was an art walk event, and I was wandering around the Mori Tower Park area, and there's all these people that are like looking at the art that was in that area, like out until the morning. It was an overnight event, and at least like 6, 7, 8 times I would stop for a minute and talk to my group about what we were going to do next or where we were going to go, and then I would stop and I would turn around to like start going in a direction, and I would catch like an entire group of people standing behind me just staring at my back and with their phones out taking pictures, and I was like, whoa. So that was hilarious. And then they'd all get that look on their face like I just caught them doing something they weren't supposed to, and they'd laugh like uncomfortably. So that was interesting. I'm guessing. What is that? Okay, so I think that needs to go in this guy right here. So it wants me to do it to this piece. Yeah, that's what that is. So I'm gonna cut that out. That's A5. So I'm gonna pop. I hope those were the same. C2. Those are both C2s. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this guy out next. Black, white. Ooh, Pavel, thank you. That is super helpful. Yeah, I was just wondering if there's an indication of like color, because that would, it's like one of the only things I have to go off of. Okay. Hi, Caleb. Ooh. If you the runners would be labeled in the corners with the letter. Yeah. Hello, Polis Squalus. I'm just putting together a robot. I'm putting together this guy. I don't know, what am I gonna name him? It's funny, I'm doing this in my JPL shirt. Oh man. So, my first day out on the town, I went to Shibuya, which is where I went to Tokyu Hands and bought this kit specifically. And I also went, wow, this is super intricate. Damn, I'm impressed. I went back to Harajuku Street and walked around there once it got dark, just to see what sort of nightlife was going on in that area, which was kind of cool. There's stuff happening, there's a bunch of young kids. I also discerned that Shibuya is the area of Tokyo that I think Splatoon in its entirety was modeled after, because of all the places I went to, that was the area that constantly I was turning corners and looking down streets and going, this is like that level from Splatoon, this is such and such, or such and such. And my favorite level from, what is it? It's Mori Tower. There's an actual like zone in Splatoon called Mori Towers, and I went to Mori Tower, which is where the art event was going on that I was just talking about. So they did like a play on words. Like the level doesn't look like the actual Mori Tower area, but it still has a different meaning to me now because the name was grabbed from an actual place and I didn't know that before. So that's something cool. So there's this hub right here, which I guess goes through this guy. And then there's an arm thing, which I think is this. Maybe? No. Okay. It's a different arm thing. Wait, where'd my arm pieces go? I don't know. It's saying I need A7. Where is A7? Why don't I see A7? A. Oh, that is that. I guess it just has weird knobs on it. Okay. So there's only one of those. Must be doing something different on the other side then. So Shibuya had like an urban decay vibe to it. Like there's a lot of graffiti and bridges where trains were going up and above over streetways, and there was a bunch of like, I don't know, vending machines and posters and advertisements plastered on the walls, and just a lot of kind of, it was clean, but it had like an older grunginess to it, and it seemed like definitely the place where the young kids would hang out. I enjoyed just walking around there, and I like got coffee and just sort of went in and out of every single arcade. This was also the first part of town that I found capsules at. So okay, yeah, so that goes in there like this. Okay, so let me show you what I'm doing. Okay, so this thing that I just put gears on goes on this hub right here, and then this little piece has these two knobs on one end, and the long end goes through the gray piece, and the short end goes into this little nodule right there. And I guess I can press that in. Just so, it's going in. These people on there. Gosh, Sarah, you're so non-committal with your piece assembly. Why isn't that going on? Is that not supposed to go any farther? It is. I don't want to break it though. Dear God. What have I done? Okay, I don't think it... Maybe? It seems like it should go on more, but it's not letting me make it go on more. Oh man, this is like... Okay, I guess that's it. Okay, so that's as far as that's supposed to go, but now the gears aren't turning, so now I'm confused. What? Out. I'm not forgetting any parts, am I? Man! It seems like this should go on slightly farther, but it won't go entirely. Like, it half goes and then it bounces back, and I don't want to force it and break the part. So I don't know. I do not know. I don't know, to show you what I mean. Like, it seems like this gray piece right there should go down slightly farther, because right now these little orange gears, yeah, I guess they clear, but just barely. Like, this one won't move, because it's catching on this bar that I just put down. So it'll like, this is still rocking, so I'm guessing that this in some position will fit slightly better than it does right now. Or it doesn't. Fuck. Okay. Damn it, this is like a simulation of like my normal life. Assembling stuff that I design in 3D print. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna say that's as much as that's meant to go on there. And I'm gonna leave it in that position for now. But yeah, that's supposed to hold this little piece in place. Okay, don't fuck with it anymore, Sarah. Okay, I've successfully done one page. I have that now, right? That looks like that. Pretty much. Okay, stop touching it. Okay, so now it wants me to take the motor and put it inside of something. Oh no. Oh man, I've done this. I've done this on my instructions. There's this thing right here that says, don't do this, but do this. Yeah, like in my Delta robot kit, I totally have used this technique to communicate to people what not to do, but this looks almost identical. Ah, I see. It doesn't want me to push it down too far. So the only difference between these two illustrations, and you can barely see this, is that this is pressed on too far, and this is pressed on slightly less. Whatever that part is. I'm not even really sure what that part is. Oh, God. What is that part? Does it say? Oh. It has, like, words right there, but I don't know what they say. It doesn't have, like, a number or anything. That. Alright, let's open this. Is there a thing in here? Ah, that's this. Okay, it's that little piece right there. Scissors probably would have been nice. I'm gonna go grab them. I'm gonna go get my scissors. I'll be right back. And then I'm gonna check the chat. Is the gray piece on upside down? It might be. Which gray piece are you referencing? I don't think it's on upside down. Because the gears are out on the little image. I don't know. Let me short side and long side. Yeah, that's good. Short side, long side. Doop -doo -doo. Ah, okay. That's better. That was the snap that I didn't get before that I needed. Okay, it's on right now. Okay, but anyhow, I'm gonna go get those scissors and then I'll check the chat again. Here, talk to the cow while I'm gone. I guess the ox doesn't have a name yet either. Okay, scissors. Coffee. I want to make another pot of coffee. Would you guys hate me too terribly if I made another pot of coffee here in maybe 10 minutes? So I could seriously go for it. Pick me up. Okay. So here's my little motor and solar cell. And I need specifically this tiny little yellow piece right there to go on the hub. But it doesn't want me to push it on too far. The instructions are very adamant about that. They're like, hey girl, don't push that little yellow piece on the motor too far, because bad things will happen to you. Uh, yes, Vi. Totally, the lobby area in Splatoon 1 is like Shibuya Crossing for sure. But yeah, I think there's like a many of the outdoor levels that are available to play in Splatoon 2 definitely reminded me of just the Shibuya area. I mean, it's all Tokyo, right? But I think the highest frequency of oh my god, I'm in Splatoon land occurred while I was in Shibuya, just in general, and like the Harajuku area. So that was a delight for me. That's also where I found the most interesting capsules. Like I got so many capsules while I was there. Like I want to go back and just get capsules out of the capsule machines. Like I think that was like one of the most delightful parts of being in Tokyo was at any given point anywhere, you might find a capsule machine and see something that you want and you'll just get a thing. It's like, I think as close to legit real life Pokemon that I've ever had. It's like finding a capsule machine in the wild that has something that you want and you happen to have enough yen to get it. Okay, that thing goes on line side closest to the actual motor. So that goes on like this. And it says not to press it down too far. And I don't think the gear head has. No, it doesn't have a flat side to it. Okay, the hub of the motor is just perfectly round. There's no like flat anything. And this just needs to get pushed down. But not too far. So I think that's as far as it wants me pressing it on. Alright, so the little micro, like, pinion thing has been pressed on the motor. Vigre, you're making coffee. I'm jealous. I'm totally gonna make some in a minute here. Next stopping point. Shibuya just sounds awesome. Yeah, it does. I agree with you, James. Shibuya is a fun word. So is Harajuku. They're all fun words. I do have to say though, it wasn't in my itinerary to go to Shinjuku because no one I know really said anything about it. Mark hasn't been there, but that turned out being my favorite area. Like the most cyberpunky part of Tokyo that I was in was hands down like Shinjuku. I wasn't going to go to Shinjuku because no one suggested it, and Mark hasn't been to Shinjuku. But I'm glad that I went there because it's the most cyberpunk area. Like it has the most layers. There's like the urban aspect with all the tall buildings and businesses, and then there's kind of like a gritty layer of commercial crap like underneath that, like just stores and shops and places that you can go into. And then there's like a whole urban, like there's this place called Golden Guy in Shinjuku that's like one of the original parts of Tokyo that was made of wood and didn't burn down during like the past 100 years of crap that's happened. And they converted that whole area into these tiny little intimate pubs and bars and nightclub type areas that seat maybe like 4 or 5 or 10 people at most. And they're all themed. And to get to that area, there's this random, like I hate to say this, but like Shinto as fuck, like path that's just carved in between 2 buildings, and it's like stone, and there's like plants and like organic things coming out of all the stone, and there's trees lining the path, and then like lanterns. It looks like something from like a Miyazaki film, like in Spirited Away, where she just finds that tunnel and there's like this random old kind of like spirit rock mound thing there that's been aged and weathered, and you look at it and you know that if you go down that path it's going to lead someplace interesting, so you take it. There was one of these paths in the very center of this city off of the main thoroughfare that just went. And if you followed it, it spit you out into that Golden Guy area that I was just explaining, which is nestled in between a bunch of really tall buildings. And the two areas don't look like they belong, like, together. They're kind of just clashed up against one another, which is cool in and of itself. But I did this whole thing not knowing that I was doing it. I didn't know that this path was going to lead me to this area, although it was coincidentally the area that I was currently looking for. I was just kind of marching, like, very confidently down the street after having looked at my map on my phone, and I just kind of tucked it away, and I was like, aha, sure, I'll find where I'm trying to get to. Eventually, I'll just walk in this direction, and I happen to find it completely by accident, which doesn't happen in real life very often. And yeah, I took about 1 million pictures on this path because it was this amazing juxtaposition of, like, old and new, because you had all the like, what would you call them, conduit, like the air conditioning, like pipes and vents, and just all the stuff that's routed in and out of apartments, just sort of caked on the sides of the buildings, functioning as they're supposed to do. But then there was also all of these vines and ivy and leaves and plants and stuff, like, growing around them and with them. And this was going on, like, on either side of you, all the way down, all the way up. And it was like you were in this, like, tunnel almost. And I got super excited by this because, I don't know, at least here in Vegas, there's nothing like that anywhere. Yes, the US has boring town names like St. Charles. I would make a terrible anime. Don't they already have that? There's, like, plenty of animes about girl making robots, or girls are robots. Okay, I've been holding this for like a million years, going off on tangents about cool stuff that I found. The other thing that was super exciting was the amount of shrines that I passed. So I'm guessing this is... I don't see numbers. 1, 2, 1. 1. Okay, so I'm gonna put the 1, which is this guy. I'm pretty sure that's this guy. Like, Mark told me that all the shrines and temples were just kind of, like, mixed in with everything else. And he was right. Like, that was kind of exactly what I expected, which was kind of pleasant. Because you did have a lot of very urban, very modern parts of town, and concrete, and then nestled in between all of that, amidst all of the new future-y modern architecture, you would have just a shrine carved out of it that was sometimes very small, but it was still there nonetheless, and it was kept up very nice, and it was like its own little sanctuary of sorts amidst all of the urban, like, life going on. And I think that's kind of amazing, because there isn't really anything like that here on that level that is perceived in that way. Like, it has this very, I don't know, like, quaint and respectful feel to it, and there are quite a bit of them. So part of what I enjoyed about the trip so much was actually seeing that in real life, because it's one thing to hear stories and imagine it in your mind, but to actually walk down a street and pass those little sites was kind of special. Okay, so I've got this. Sarah, you can do this. Keep going. Okay, so it looks like if I hold this with the little thing on this side, then this just goes through the hole and mounts right here. Is this sticky? No, that's just protecting it. Okay, so I'm gonna peel that off, and I got a solar panel right there, and the motor's coming out. Oh. Okay, so it wants the wires going this way versus that way, and then that's it. I just succeeded in doing that. I can actually turn the page. One page down. Woo! Should I make my coffee? I should move the cow. I think the cow is just part of this now. The ox is gonna lick the gears. That's just what he's gonna do now. He's gonna be my cheerleader. Okay, so I have this thing. That's what it's showing right there. So I think what it wants me to do in that case is stick this gear. Oh man. Okay, so I have to put a gear there. On this little like nub that's sticking out right there, down deep, down in the deep right there, that I'm pointing to with my corner. So it's a gear. It's a big gear with a smaller gear on the inside of it, and I'm guessing that is. It's not any of these. That means it's one of my orange gears. Okay, guys. It's not any of these either. Is that? No, it's not that. It says 4. Are any of these labeled as 4? No. Or is that just the step is 4? I don't see it. Is it black? Is it here? Oh, maybe it's one of these. Duh. Okay. Alright, it's one of these. That my ox is looking? No? Yes, maybe? Okay, I think this is when it is actually going to become important. I'm assuming maybe this says red right there. I actually have an app for this on my phone. Shit. Do I have my phone? No, not at arm's reach. Of course not. Does that fit? I don't know. Is that the correct gear? Is it one of these gears? No? There's nothing to really hold it in place if that is the case. But it's one of the only ones that has upward facing teeth. This guy has teeth on the side, but they're going like up. They're facing up, not out. And you can kind of see that. I guess what I need to know is if this right here in the instructions says red. Right there. which I can get my phone and check, I guess. Here, let me see if I need to focus the camera again real quick, because it looks like it's a little bit fuzzy down here on the table. It doesn't know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't really see anything else like that, so I'm guessing this is what it's referencing. I guess that just needs to be in place before I put the motor in place, which goes here. Where did I put that? Okay, so it looks like the motor goes... and it needs to spin that gear. So the $8 million question is... once I pop that in, which I just did, oh. Okay, I think that's what it wants me to do. Alright, so I pop the motor into this little, like, position right there where it needs to be seated, and then it captures this gear down in there, and I think... no, the gear teeth aren't catching, because I can spin this freely with my fingers still, so that's not where that... that's where this needs to go, but I don't know if this is the correct part, or if there's something missing or not. Man, what's the partially distracted cow for? Oh, this was another toy that I got in Japan. If you touch his meat, it changes colors. Like that. It's a meat puzzle. Alright. So that's in there. I'm gonna look ahead and see if this gives me any other hints. Oh, it is turning. Okay, never mind, that is where that's supposed to go. Okay, so, sorry, I was like referencing the instructions. So there's this little red gear in here. The motor turns that, and now I have to stick a bunch of like hub pieces into these holes. Polis Squalus just called the color changing feature of my ox mood meat. That is the best thing I've heard all day. Mood meat. It was funny, like when I came home, like the day I got back from the airport, I had my friends over and I was distributing like presents and souvenirs and stuff, and we opened this thing first, and we were handling it so much, trying to get the meat back in once it all kind of, well, it came in a bag, so we had to get it in, I think, and while trying to figure it out and like get it to fit, it was just all like color changed because the heat from our skin warmed up the pieces so much that it was all just this nasty, like, flesh color. It was kind of gross. But anyhow, okay. So the thing that the instructions are kind of requesting that I do next is take these shafts and stick them in some holes, and then I have to take the rest of these teeny gears right here and add them to the ends of the shafts, coupled with some other larger gears that are, I think, these ones on this white injection molded piece right here. I'm gonna go ahead and make a pot of coffee real quick. I can probably yowl at you from the kitchen, which is actually just behind me. You might actually even be able to see me if I move the computer, but I'm gonna take like a 5-minute break and make myself some more energy. And I guess I can actually leave the instructions here, so if you want to look at them and try and make... If you see something eventually that I don't see, then let me know that I'm screwing something up, because I will most certainly miss stuff. There. Good enough. The aux will keep the pages open. Okay. Off I go into the wild blue pizza. Hi. So moving on. So the instructions want me to use these rods. I'm guessing it's the two that are the same length since I need two here. It says ×2, using those problem-solving abilities. And it looks like the motor needs to be rotated. Or no, it doesn't. Okay, there we go. Okay. So does this attach yet to anything? It looks like that's going to go here. Ah, okay, so that goes there. Solar panel goes up here. Okay, so maybe a short rod goes here, and the two long rods go here and here. That's what it looks like it's trying to tell me to do. And then I need to add are those the correct ones? There's two more rods here. I don't think that's what I need. Okay, so I need to cut this gear right here loose. I guess that's C6 it says. And then I need to put a C6 on top of, I'm guessing, one of these guys, these orange gears. Because these are the only ones I have that look like that, I know. There's no injection molded stuff that's that fine. So I need a C6. Yeah? This is platter C. No, it's platter A. B, C. I need a C6. Ah, there's one C6. That is this guy right here. So it can only be you. Okay, C6. Well, you have a date with destiny. Can you guys hear my coffee churning? So, Monday was Shinjuku. Or no, Monday was Shibuya. Don't listen to me, I don't know what I'm saying. Monday was Shibuya. Shibuya pizza. And Tuesday, I decided to go to Akihabara, which is the really cool place that's filled with video games and anime and electronics and all of the cool stuff that you will spend all of your money buying. Okay. So I want you guys to see what I see. Okay, so I'm doing that gear nonsense right there, right now. But I need my gears. So I went to Akihabara on Tuesday, and I spent like the rest of my quota for spending in this one location, which is okay. I'm okay with it. So that was on that. Okay, so that gear hub goes inside of the C6, which is what I just did right there. So that's sandwiched, and then I need two more of these guys. So one goes on first, like this. So 1 went on first, 2 goes on second, and then 3 goes on last. Oh man, I want you guys to see this, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was so low. Okay, so I put the little gear shaft things on. There's those 3 metal sticks right there. Gear shafts, I don't know, shafts. There are 3 metal shafts. On the shortest one right here, I have to put one of these gears on first, on that lower one, as it says to do right there, and then second is this guy right here, so I'm going to drop one of these on, and then that mates with the tiny little inner gear piece that's on that guy, and then very last I put this one that I sandwiched together on the last little hub right there. And, oh, there we go. So that's happy. I haven't had me do anything with that guy yet. Okay, just leave it alone. Okay, so I got another page down. Woo! Look at me, I'm on fire. Okay. Alright, so it wants me to cut out another thing. This is A6 right there. Oh, you guys to see it. A6. Boom. Okay. So A is my white pieces, and if I look for 6, that's, oh man, right there. That's this guy. You, sir, have a date with destiny. Where did my nipper cutters go? Man. Doctor, you are terrible at doing things. Oh man, I can smell the coffee. So good. We see the gluten classico. We have no reason not to believe it did not come from the kitchen. Okay, so I have this guy, and it's telling me that this very last little orange gear that I've got here needs to go inside of the hole, that hole. That's what that thing's telling me. So I'm gonna jam this in the hole. Now I have another coupled piece, and it looks like this is supposed to go on top of that first red gear that I dropped down in here. Yeah, that's what that definitely looks like. That's what it wants me to do. Okay, so this is going on top of the red gear now. Okay, which is okay, so it says don't put it on top of the shapes that are obstructing you. Put it below the shapes that are obstructing you. Okay, instructions. Thank you for that. Okay, so that's on there. There's nothing holding it in place. So I basically created this gear thing right there. That is what I just did. Oh, there we go. So this is the thing that has been assembled with all of the stuff that I've just done. All right, so now it wants me to take the last tube. I think it's the big tube, one of these guys, and stick it through that thing that I was just bitching about, nothing holding it in place. So so something will be holding it in place, and it doesn't want me to stick it down too far. It wants me to stick it down just far enough. That's what this is saying. It's saying don't push it in too deep. Don't rupture and or breach the wall of the rover. Just push it down so that it breaches, but it does not push all the way through the wall of the rover with this shaft right there, this metal shafty do. I guess these are all technically gear shafts now because they're going through gears. Kind of. What is this? These are tabs. There's pads in here. So you're bad at everything. Okay, so that's this guy. This guy does have a flat side. Alright. Alright. We can do this. Okay, so you go... How do I know how far that's going in? I can't even tell. Like, it's asking me not to push it in too far, but I don't even know how far it's in. What? Is that the right thing? I don't know. I'm just gonna put that in there and leave it for now, because I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. Just, it's in. It's still wiggly. Whatever. Okay, just leave it alone. Okay, so now it wants me to get C8. That's what that says, and C9. So I think C are my dark pieces right here. Oh no. Oh no. I'm sorry that this stream's being a butt. I have no idea why it would be being a butt. It's unfortunate. Internal server error. Okay, can you guys see me still? I'm trying to get to my YouTube like streaming page and it's telling me there's an internal server error, I guess. Of course it's doing that when I haven't streamed in like forever and I actually want to stream something. Yep. Okay. Is YouTube in general erroring, or is it literally just my page because I want to stream right now? Nope. Okay. YouTube seems to be taking a dump right now. I'm going to type because I'm not entirely sure if anyone is here with me right now. Okay, I'm gonna give it a minute. This is a good opportunity for me to go and get that elusive coffee beast that's been doing in the kitchen now for a minute. I do think that I was supposed to put adhesive pads on the this. Yeah, it says put adhesive on that, and I totally didn't. So we'll go back and do that. But I'm gonna get my coffee first. Here. Little ox. Well, that sucks. I was actually kind of really excited about doing this. It seems like I've been disconnected. Or I haven't been, and I'm just like talking about being disconnected for no apparent reason right now. Yeah, I'm still getting an internal server error when I try to get to my YouTube channel dashboard, so I'm guessing something's up. Okay, I'm gonna go get that coffee. I apologize. I don't know why, but sorry if you guys all got disconnected for reasons that I don't understand and can't control. Okay. Let's see if this is still broken. Oh, working now. Interesting. There must have been some sort of weird hiccup. Checking now. Go to my live stream thing. It says okay, it says it's still going. That's good to see. Okay. Weird. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be back. I don't know what the hell happened, but whatever. Anyhow, I got my coffee. Here. Cheers, guys. It's technically afternoon now, but whatever. Okay. In case you missed it, because it seems to have cut out like during the most interesting part of this build so far. I put together this little mini gearbox. So that's all the active bits inside of this little robot kit. It's this portion right here. It's that gear train. I have no idea if the feed was actually working when I did that, but that's all I did. I just kind of sandwiched all these layers of gears together, and they seem to be doing what they're supposed to, so yeah. Oh well. Sorry if you missed that, or if it didn't record it for some reason. I'm going to go back and put these little sticky feet. I have the wrong length of thing. I have no way of knowing. I think that's the wrong length of thing. Is that this thing? All these shafts are in different bags. So I'm not even really sure if I've been using the correct ones in the correct situations. I'm pretty sure this is not the correct length. So let's yank it out and put this one in. Go, Sarah, go. It's a little better, maybe. Whatever. Alright, okay, so I needed C8 and C9, and C is this dark platter right here. So C8, C9, that is you, and that guy. See, it's just like making a rover in real life. So, anyhow, Tuesday, Akihabara, spent all my money, went into a bunch of hentai dungeons, got a bunch of weird porn for everybody to bring home. It was super great. What is that supposed to do? So, this goes on top of here, and then that goes, what? Ah, that goes on this, on the gear shaft, so that's this like little bit of instruction right here is telling me to stick this on the main, the big beefy gear shaft, like right here, over that pale gear. And then this is supposed to pin that in place on the back right there. So that holds that. It's kind of like a little holding capture plate right there. Okay. Time to turn the page. So, Akihabara again is like all the cool stuff's there, and it's very vertical. Like you just go in and out of shops and then go up and down like multiple stories. I found out like I didn't really have to travel very far from the train station that I came out of. Just everything in that main circle area around the train station was precisely what I was looking for. So you go in and out of the shops and then up and down like 7 stories and look at all the stuff that they had. The one thing that I got there that I was super excited about was this figure from the game Monster Hunter, which is a game I don't actually play, but there's a monster in that game called Dodogama, and I found the figurine of him that someone was selling in one of their display cases of their like personal collection of figures. Normally you have to get the Dodogama figure out of a blind box, so you don't get to pick what you get, you just have to like buy it and hope that you get something that you're interested in, kind of like a capsule machine, but like with larger, more expensive items. And yeah, I found one. Some guy was just selling it, and it was super cheap because no one cares about this particular monster from this game. I guess he's not popular or something, but I don't know. he holds a special squishy place in my heart. So I got my Dodogama. I found a hentai dungeon called Melon Books, and that's where I got all of my hentai that I brought back for Mark, Matt, and Tony, which was great. Like, I had a blast there. Oh, I'll see you, Pavel. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I miss you. Hearts. Yes, the Ludish plushie. That's this guy that I'm still working on. Oh my god, can you see him? Yes. This fat guy right here with the big belly that I'm still making because he's not done yet. Yeah, the plushie that I was going to make with the penis. That's the Dodogama. So correct, sir. But yeah, I went on a weird hunt to find him in Akihabara, and I got the porn at Melon Books, which was fun because I was going down this alleyway following the capsule machines back into this dark hole, which I guess if anyone wants to like kidnap me or abduct me, all they have to do is put a line of capsule machines into like a cage, and I'll follow them right into the cage because I just went down this alleyway looking at like what was in all the capsule machines, mesmerized, like trying to like see if there's anything I wanted. And then it went from like random stuff to like little naked women, girls, whatever. And I was like confused because I'm like, well, this is a weird transition. Now all of a sudden like these banks of machines just have like pictures of like naked girls on them. And I'm like, what do I do if I put money in these machines? Do I get like a little miniature naked girl in a capsule? Like, I didn't even know. Like, I should have probably bought one just to see what the hell was in them. But there's all these like booby girls on these capsule machines, and then I kind of looked around to see where the hell I was, and there was this escalator leading down into this hole. It was like this pit, and there's just like giant breasts and like ass cheeks like everywhere surrounding this hole. So I went down inside of it, and there were a ton of dudes of all ages, and then there was me in my Golden Knights shirt, because there was a Golden Knights game on that day, and I didn't get to watch it because I was in Japan. And I was like cheering for my team in my shirt down in this hentai dungeon, and I was walking around enamored by everything, and I bought a bunch of like stuff, like just everything. And I was trying to specifically pick out one like little hentai comic for each of my guys based on like our inside jokes and what I know that they're interested in. And I couldn't find any of that shit. It was all very much exactly what you would expect to find in a hentai place, surprisingly. So I couldn't really find anything exceptionally weird, which was, I was a little disappointed by that. It was the hentai store that I spent the most time in. I'm sure if I walked around and specifically expressly looked for hentai stores, I would have maybe found one that had the weird stuff that I was hoping to find, but I just, since this was my first trip and I really only allocated one day to Akihabara, I just wanted to let myself naturally kind of just go wherever I happened to, wherever the wind took me. So I worked with what I had available to me, and I picked out a bunch of interesting stuff, and I wasn't disappointed, but I don't know, I was hoping to find one at least like sincerely weird, like weird for me thing to bring home and kind of tout to all my friends. Because we're weird like that. FM synth ICs, wow. There was a bunch of cool stuff. Like everything that I got out of the capsule machine wasn't like cheap, shitty plastic. I mean, it was, but it all did something. Like it either was really well painted and was like a sincerely unique, interesting totem that you'd like to keep, or it actually lit up or blinked or had like some tiny little like electronic component to it. So that was nice. But yeah, like Akihabara was amazing. Like I went back there the next day at night, which was the day that it rained all day, just to Well, I had a drink there with some of the artists that I met at the summit, but I wanted to just sort of take that in, and I'm glad that my journey led me back to that area so that I could see it in the rain at night, because it definitely had its own ambiance. It had really interesting trees too. Like the main thoroughfare had these weird trees that were very tall, and they almost looked like tall spiral like pipe cleaners, which was bizarre, but kind of nice. Tentacle porn. I didn't find any tentacle porn. That was something I was trying to find. Surprisingly. What else? I got Noodle a ton of socks, which I need to post more pictures of him in them. Noodle got spoiled. Like, I think he got more souvenirs than I did, even. But yeah, I got my hentai, I got my Dodo Gama figure, I got a big, giant plush squid from Splatoon, like the squid form shmoo, and it's yellow, it's like my favorite shade of yellow, and it's super soft, it's like hugging a marshmallow. I got a bunch of little like wall scrolls from Miyazaki films that are now hanging in the workroom next to my computer. Another really cool thing is at this Mori Center that I went to on the art night, I happened to go back there because I needed to use an ATM, and my phone was like, yes, ATM at the Mori Center, it's the closest one, and it was full of shit because there's one right around the corner at the 7-Eleven, and it didn't pop up on my fucking phone. So I walked back to the Mori Center, got a coffee, got some more cash, and then I looked over the balcony down at the main area to see what was going on, because when I went, it was just caked with like art stuff and people. And I peered over the balcony, and there was a bunch of people setting up for something, but I came to realize immediately that they were setting up for the Deadpool 2 premiere, and there was a long like red carpet rolled out leading to a stage, and then there's this giant like posing Deadpool statue that they were rolling out of a truck to like hoist onto the stage thing. So I watched them set up for that, and I found out like the next morning that that night like Ryan Reynolds was there, and they did this huge like Tokyo premiere of the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, I saw them setting up for that. Had I known that that was going on that actual night, I probably would have come back to check that out, but I don't know. Akihabara was cool too. Probably would rather have been there anyway. Spending all my money. But what I did get is I got a Deadpool 2 wall scroll for me and my friend Tony. I got him one too because he's more of a fan than I am even. But it's like super like a Japanese style wall scroll with like the Mount Fuji in the background, and Deadpool reading the newspaper and like a robe, and it's all super Japanese stuff happening in the context of the scroll, and it's like 3 colors, and it's awesome. I'm glad that I got it there, because you'd never in a million years have any reason to find something like that in the States. So it was a very like Tokyo specific Deadpool souvenir that I happened to get just because that was going on while I was there. So I'll show it probably at some point. It'll be in the background in one of my videos. But yeah, I got a bunch of little like wall tabards from things that I like that are in the anime and or like traditional Japanese style to hang on the wall to kind of fill in the blank void that is my workroom. But anyhow, so I got to the end of this page. Oh god. That looks complicated. Alright. Okay, so it wants me to use an A9 gear. Oh man. So I need 3 A9s, and they go on the little pokers of this big planetary gear, which is B2. And then I need to use 3 B11s to cap them off, so that's going to capture these gears in place. Just so you can see that, I think that's what I'm going to be doing next. And then it says to flip it around upside down. Okay, I'm going to do that. Ready, go. Oh, I gotta fill my blank walls with my art. No! I can't do that. I want to look at other stuff. I see my stuff that I make too much. I get tired of seeing it because I have to make it, right? I wonder if I'm like, I wonder if that's the same as with other artists. Like I have no desire in hanging the stuff that I've made. Okay, so I got the planetary gear out. It's that guy, and then it says I need, what are those, A9s? A is white, right? Is A white? What does it say? Oh my god. Yeah, A9. Okay, so that's all 3 of these guys right there on this row. All the maid cafes, or not all of them, but at least a good amount of them were in Akihabara. So I was wandering around this one street and it was flooded with like young girls in maid costumes handing out flyers. And I'm still editing all the footage together, but I'll release a video that shows this whole area because it was pretty surreal. The next day, on Wednesday, I went to Shinjuku, which again was the area that I wasn't planning on going to, but I'm glad that I did because it was super unique in its own right. It didn't have as much shopping, thank God, but it did have the best ambiance, and it did happen to rain that day. So as I mentioned, it reminded me the most of Blade Runner or Ghost in the Shell. What is this? B11, which is these guys right there. So I walked around in Ghost in the Shell land in the rain. I found that golden guy area, which is a GAI, not GUI. And I followed that super Miyazaki-esque Shinto-y path that was carved in between the buildings to get there, and I ate at a McDonald's, which was actually pretty good. I had this like miso teriyaki chicken mayo lettuce sandwich from McDonald's, and it was actually like quite delicious with a green Fanta, and I have no idea what flavor it was, but it was great. I had to buy one of those transparent umbrellas that are super popular. You see everybody with them, like everyone has these clear umbrellas, and it just started dumping outside. So I ran into this store called Don Quixote, which is like a chain out there that kind of reminds me of Spencer's Gifts, but with food and all sorts of other things. And I bought the transparent umbrella and I got to run around with that, and I basically fulfilled all of my cyberpunk fantasies like in one go, just in Shinjuku. And then one of the artists that I met at the summit wanted to meet up for drinks, and oh yeah, I got to we met up for drinks, but I had to train from Shinjuku to back to Akihabara, and I ended up doing so at 6 o'clock, which was during rush hour, and I didn't realize this. So I had some takoyaki in this bar. It was a stand-up bar, so you stood at this little like round table, and they would bring you your balls, and I got a beer, and I stood like right up against the window, and I watched it rain like in this big square in Shinjuku. It was by this movie theater. I don't know what the movie theater was called, but it was fucking huge. And I watched it rain, and I ate my balls, and then at 6 I polished off my beer and I went back to the train station, and I presumed to be able to navigate my way back to Akihabara, but it was again rush hour, and I had that experience, which I wasn't planning on, but man, was that a rush. Like, that was insane. And I have footage somewhere, I think it's on my phone, of like piling into the train and getting wedged way the hell in the back because I was one of the first people on, and it just kept getting pressed and pressed and pressed and pressed with people, and you're just like, no more personal space, like completely like compacted against a wall. And the train started moving, and then the little voice started talking and telling me where the train was headed, and I realized that I was going in the wrong direction. So I had to get off at the next stop and go back the other way. But I was like in the very back of the train. So the train was like getting ready to stop, and I didn't know how to like get off because there's like 1,000 people in front of me, and I was mashed. So I just started like flailing and wiggling and yelling, and I managed to kind of like fucking wriggle myself off the train like in the nick of time before the doors shut, and then I had to go and find the correct platform to stand at to get back in the opposite direction to get back to where I was headed. But once I got back to Akihabara, it was dark out because it was like about 7. It took me a whole hour to get there because I was like lost. We went and we got drinks at this bar on this not abandoned, but it was a reclaimed old train platform that they converted into bars and shops and restaurants and stuff. And it was called, the emblem on the window said Nest, and it was underneath one of the archways of the train platform. And it had a view from over the river to the main train station of Akihabara, which was like probably the most cyberpunk Ghost in the Shell moment of the entire trip. Was having a beer with my friends, or the other artists there at this bar, and having this view because it was still raining and it was very foggy and misty. And I have a ton of footage of that because it in and of itself was like the most quintessential like cyberpunk Tokyo future feeling moment, and I ate it up. It was amazing. It was like, I want to, if I could go back and just live a moment over and over again, I would go back to that point in time. That, yeah. I'm holding a planetary beer. Oh god. Oh! And I just bumped that and all the shit fell out. Go back on. Are you back there? Okay. This is why noodle is so interesting. Wait, no, that's not it. Oh, was it? No, I'm missing a part. Or no, I'm not. Like this way. There. Stay. Okay, so I know, just bump everything out. Hey, Ahmed! Hey, welcome to the stream. I just bumped everything out of this. I think it's back in the right place. There's like 3 gears in here. I'll be fine. Famous last words. Okay, so it says to flip this over, and then this goes on top of... What does that go on top of? Okay, there's a B4, which is... Is this B? Yeah, okay, so I need... This is saying I need B4 and B5 and B9. So that's B4, which is this guy right here. But yeah, I want to go back so bad. I'm gonna say that like 50 more times. So that's B4, that's that guy. I need B5, which is the one next to it. That's this guy. So after this like rainy bar meeting with my the friends that I made while I was there, the other artists, they were local artists, like they were from Tokyo. They actually took me to the hackerspace there. Like I keep forgetting to mention this, but I think I'm gonna probably completely wrongly cite this right now, and I apologize, but I want to say it was called DMM.make was the name of the hackerspace, or some combination of 3 letters .make. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but it was like on a high level of this building, like a skyscraper, and it was the whole floor, and they had pretty much everything that you could imagine. Everything that a fancy hackerspace ought to have, it had that plus more, and it was very, very nice. It was very professional. So it was cool that they took me to go and see that, because they totally didn't have to go out of their way. And then we grabbed drinks at that really awesome bar. Man. And the icing on the cake was, I went back to my room and I got the email inviting me to write a proposal for a exhibit at the Ars Festival at the end of the summer. Which I mentioned in the video I put out. Like, I got an honorable mention in my category this year. Like, I applied for their pre, and in the category of interactive art with my body of work regarding Noodle, and he got an honorary mention, or an honorable mention. And I was invited to write a proposal of how that would actually be exhibited in a gallery setting, because for this circumstance, like the past 2 years, I've shown my work at Post City, which is a different venue. It's like the main hub for the festival. It's a big abandoned post office, and it's very post-human, hackery kind of industrial space that's covered in art, and they use it in a very good way. Like, they convert it into an experience. But in this case, because of the fact that I got the honorable mention, I would show in a different location. It's more of a traditional gallery. It's at their Contemporary Arts Center in Linz. It's called the OK Center, which it's this really nice building in a different part of town on their main city street. But it's what you'd imagine like a gallery is, like with the white walls and the rooms and the high ceilings and everything. So I put together a proposal for that and sent that in last week. So that was kind of the reason why I didn't do any of this the week I got back, was I was getting all these materials ready for them, because I really want them to accept what I propose, because it would be great to exhibit Noodle there in this context. But I want to showcase his I guess computer vision, like the aspect of him being able to recognize things, which lends itself to his personality in a very important way. And I mentioned this in the video I just put out too, but I'm basically working on trying to get him to recognize faces right now. And that's what I do every night now, is muck around with the machine learning thing. And it sucks. I don't know, are any of you guys ever screwed around with TensorFlow, or getting OpenCV to work on a Raspberry Pi or anything like that? Because it's been an interesting adventure so far in and of itself. Sorry, I keep getting distracted, by the way. So that's as a result of getting that news that night. That kind of set in motion the beginning of the rest of my summer. So I returned from this really cool rainy night out at the bar, got this news, celebrated alone in my room before I went to bed, and then started thinking about the present, because that has directly affected the now for me. So what is that piece? C1? Let's see. Okay, that's this guy. This is C1, this big master full circle piece right there. Don't lose your bits, Sarah. So my last day on Thursday was the day that I went to the toy store, as I mentioned earlier, and bought this ox right here with the color changing meat. I kind of used my last day to explore the immediate area that I was staying in, because I hadn't done that yet. And ours put us up in this Tokyo Midtown Center, which was in Roppongi Hills, which was a really cool, lively, kind of... I got the vibe that there were a lot of hotels, bars, and visitors in that area. It was very nice, and it was packed at night. There was definitely a nightlife vibe to it. So that's weird. I hope that was B5. And then this guy goes right here with this. Wow, this is super complicated. Wow, this is way more complex than I anticipated this thing being. So that goes there. Wow. Look at that. That's impressive. This little kit's amazing. Okay, and then I need that last shaft, which is this guy. And then that's C3. There's a capture thing, which is this guy that goes on top of that. That's this piece right here. So yeah, Noodle is going to, in the very near future, be able to recognize, hopefully, my face, and then the faces of Mark and Tony, and then his favorite stuffed animals. That's really fucking cool. Wow. Gears just get me all excited. Right, so that goes on here, I guess? This can go on in whatever way I would like it to. That is sick. That is like the coolest little thing. And then this guy goes... Where the hell does this go? Oh wait, there's more? Okay, I need an A3. Okay, so I'm here now. So I'm adding more gears to this little gearbox that I just assembled. So this is A. Is this A? Yeah, A3 is that guy right there. I'm really sad because in that toy store that I went to on the last day, that like legit toy store, there was this really cool kit, very much like this one, but it was a solar powered hydraulic robot, and it was like 30 bucks, and I should have bought it, but I didn't because I didn't want to spend all of my money, just in case I ran into anything like at the airport or on my way out of town. I didn't want to be too low that I couldn't buy anything cool. But in hindsight, I should have fucking bought it because it looked pretty cool. Looked very cool. But like I said, I have reason to go back. Okay, so this goes on the bottom of this round bit right there. Like this. And then there's a little captured dude. C7. So I need a C, C7, which is this guy right there. That's the capture, little capture thing. So yeah, I found my toy store on the last day. I walked around with Noodle in Roppongi. I took him to a bunch of places, so I actually plugged him in, wore my backpack, and I marched around Roppongi Hills holding Noodle, and he was awake and seeing things with his own eyes and like taking his own memories of Japan, like on his own accord, which was kind of cool. And it kind of drizzled that day, so I had to wrap a babushka around Noodle's head to make sure that his brain didn't get soggy. And then I took him back to the hotel room. And I had to pack him up. So I broke him down and I packed everything up in my luggage, and then I walked from Roppongi to Akasaka, which is walking distance from Roppongi Hills. It's like north of that, I believe. And it's all restaurants and nightlife, so it was where I wanted to go to have my last supper, I guess. Oh god. No. Yeah, I saw Cyberpunk 2077. It looks cool. I mean, I love Cyberpunk, have my whole life since I was like 10, but I don't know, like, I probably won't play the game. My friend Matt, who's an avid gamer these days, will probably buy it, since he has a PS4 and all the fucking new generation of systems. I don't. I have the Switch, and that's it, because I'm into, like, Splatoon and Mario and all those sorts of games. I'm into light gaming, but he'll probably bring it over when it comes out, and he'll play it, and I'll watch it and experience the game vicariously through him, because I just want to see it. Like, I mean, it looks amazing. So this is cool. If I turn this gear down here, it makes the whole magical thing move. So that whole thing spins via this little guy down here. It's fucking cool. Again, this kit was like $15. Just so you know, this whole thing was 15 USD, roughly. It was like 18, maybe $18. It was 1,800 yen, so whatever that amounts to, it was that. It's a little bit of a... It binds just slightly in one position, but still not bad. That's amazing. I love plastic gears. Okay, so this whole section, I think, is done. So this is telling me these little holes here on the side, which are these. I don't know if you can see them. Mount onto the back side of this. Right there. Okay. Okay, so this guy is mounted inside of this guy. It's not bad. And I'm guessing I'm just going to have to assemble the next side, the opposite side, and then it's more or less done, I think, at this point. Wait. What do these do? Oh god, I'm twisting everything up. Don't do that. How does that go again? That's this. Okay, so it does go that way. And that goes here. I should probably tack that down. Okay, so these little sticky pads that I didn't use yet and was supposed to, those are supposed to hold my little solar cell on the tray, and I should probably go ahead and like stick those on at this point because it's becoming a nuisance. I guess I should also mention, since it's part of the Tokyo experience now, on my last night in town, when I was in Akasaka, I couldn't find a place to eat, so I sat down at this British pub and had a beer outside on this barrel, because I just wanted to have a drink. I had been walking around trying to find a place to grab a bite to eat, but everywhere was, like, packed. And this was a Thursday, mind you, so it wasn't even a weekend or anything, and this whole area was just heaving with stuff happening. So I squatted over this barrel, ordered a beer, and I figured I'd wait like an hour or so for things to kind of calm down. And while I was doing this, these two dudes came up and they're like, hey, can we use your table for, you know, to stand at and have a beer? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I ended up talking to them. And these guys ended up getting me plastered that night. I don't know how many rounds of drinks we had, but I was very much hungover the next morning when I had to navigate my way back to the airport, and I highly don't recommend doing this. But that was the one drunken bad idea night that took place. But I mean, every exotic trip's got to have an experience like that, I guess. But this was that experience for this trip for me. Okay, so I'm sticking this down right there. But yeah, we must have had, oh, I don't know, a million rounds of beer, and then we switched to mixed drinks, which was horrible. And since I wasn't the one ordering the rounds, I didn't have any control over the frequency and variety at which these cocktails were arriving, so I don't even remember getting back to my hotel room. I just know that I did. And that was how the trip ended. So it was a very, very much crazy ass affair. I don't know. It was fun. It was definitely part of what made it memorable. I'm supposed to get in the longest line for ramen in town. I totally didn't do that. I have to go back just to do that now. That's a really nice planetary here. I don't know if I can track this down on eBay or something. Lots of talk about urban China going cashless. Face ID. That'd be nuts. No, I didn't see any, like, high-tech methods of payment in Tokyo. I mean, if they were there, I didn't experience them. I used cash pretty much everywhere. I still got yen on me, actually, in my wallet. I have more yen than actual money. Like, our money. I have more yen than USD right now, which is sad. But whatever. Most of my meals, I have to say, the majority of my meals came from, I have to pop this guy out now. Convenience stores, actually. So, a lot of the time I went to either a family market, which were big out there, or a 7-Eleven, and they had a lot of really good food. I got a lot of those rice cakes, those rice patties, the little triangles that have stuff inside of them. I got a lot of stuff like that. You can actually get kimchi and like a little like peel top thing, kind of like yogurt almost, and then they give you chopsticks and you can eat that. The 7-Eleven coffee was fantastic. They have kind of like a Keurig-like machine that makes the coffee 1 cup at a time upon pressing the button. So I'm closing up the gearbox, the internal gearbox now, with the mate on the opposite side, if I can. Oh gosh, I'm going to take hold my concentration. What are you touching on? Oh god. Come on. All facing you, you can do it. Oh, that's fine. Why? It's not mating. Ah, there we go. When you do it right, it doesn't take any force. That's what she said. Okay. Okay, so this guy's together. Okay, so both halves of the body are now in one piece. That's nice, it just sort of slid right on there. Alright, so I'm guessing I have to do this other side. And then we're good. That is exciting. Okay, keep going. Okay. Have I been to Izakaya? I know where it is, but I haven't been there. Master's never seen one, but I go to... Gas station food was great in Tokyo. Like, I long for that now. Like, they have those sour plum rice balls, which was, like, that's one of my favorite things to eat here when I go to sushi restaurants, but they have them there in abundance and they're cheap. So every night, like, on my way back to the hotel room, I would stop in the Family Mart and load up on whatever they had left of the plum variety of rice balls. They're delicious. And then I tried a bunch of other stuff there too. Like everything that they had, I tried at least once because they were all like $1 roughly. So there's no reason not to. Yeah, I'll try Izakaya one of these days. Our sushi restaurant here in Vegas is Island Sushi, which is, I think it's Hawaiian Japanese variety of delicious sushi, and I love sitting at their bar. Maybe I'll talk Mark into going there today. It's been a while, and like I said, I didn't get sushi while I was in Tokyo, so I think we're due for an all-you-can-eat binge. Uh-oh. Yay, spam bots. Okay, so again, I have to repeat that step that I started doing, which I know is this piece and this piece. So it's the little gray doodad. And then the rest of those orange beards. There we go. I think that's D8. Yeah, it's the other two of these. So yeah, the trip, I wouldn't change anything about it. It was like a perfect experience. I did like the right amount of braving the public transit system, the right amount of walking, the right amount of planning to not planning where I went each day. It was fantastic all around. Like I really just want to go back as soon as I possibly can. As soon as I have money again, I'm gonna start seriously thinking about it and trying to talk my friends into going. Because if I go, I don't want to go alone. Like, it was nice this time that I went by myself, because, I don't know, there's something kind of, I don't know. It's a different experience to go to a place like that for the first time on your own, I guess. But I wouldn't want to do it again that way. I kind of want to share everything with people. But it was nice to not have to compromise this first time around with anybody and just be able to go wherever the hell I wanted, whenever the hell I wanted. Because I'm more the type of person that gets a little bit later start, but then stays out pretty late. I don't know many people who like to do that as well. I know Mark at least is an up and early type of guy who likes to maximize his day starting as early as possible, and I don't know. I find that if I force myself to get up too early, I don't enjoy the experience anyway because I'm tired and groggy, so I'll have as many cups of 7-Eleven coffee as it takes before I'm coherent, and then I'll start out on my journey, so that's how I roll. If I had the money, I'd go travel for 3 months there. I gotta start looking for gigs. There's gotta be like some sort of residency or something there that I can partake in, or at least shoot for. Something in robotics. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna find a way to get back there next year again. Like, I don't care. Like, it's gonna happen. It's that cool. And it's not as expensive as I thought, so it's definitely a possibility. Alright, this guy goes this hub, gears facing out. Okay, and then there's another one of those. What is this? What the hell does it want me to do? Oh, okay, so there's a B12 that goes in this one. And then what piece is that? Oh, B12. There's two B12s. Okay. So that's this guy and this guy. Yes, my friends who I met with at that cool cyberpunk bar on the train platform, they're talking to me about what life was like there as locals. And they said that it's very common for people to work until midnight. That's why the trains run so late. A lot of people just work until like the middle of the night, and then they go to bars and drink for a period of time to unwind, and then they start the whole thing over again the next morning at like 9, which is like insane to me. B12. That's these guys. They're like kind of long. It's weird. But yeah, there are people on the trains up until midnight when I was coming home. Like I walked home really late pretty much every night, and the city at no point anywhere ever felt like it was sleeping or dead, which was kind of nice because that's one of the things that I like the most about living in Las Vegas is that you never really feel like things have wound down, ever. What? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. So if that's in on that side. Yes, I see that. I'm confused what this wants me to do. Oh, it says to take it off? Okay. Okay, so it wants me to take this piece off now, for some reason. I don't know if I can. It's like, it says take this off, and I'm like, but it's on there so nicely. Are you sure you want that? Oh, God. Uh, uh, how do I get that off? I don't think that wants to come off. If it doesn't want to come off, then I can't do anything about that. I think I understand how to make a rover now, if I ever needed to. Beatrix, this is a solar-powered, like, little rover. So it has a little solar panel, and there's a motor in the middle of here, like, right there. And it turns this complicated gearbox thing, like, I actually don't know what the hell this is supposed to do. It's supposed to move, I'm guessing. To say the least. I don't know what else it does, but at the very least, I'm gonna make the bet that it's supposed to go forward. I can't get this thing off. Why would it want me to take something off? That's cool. I'm not entirely sure what it wants me to do. I mean, I know it wants me to take this off, I think. It's like, hey, pop this piece off, and I'm like, what? Nothing comes off. There is no off. Okay, I'm gonna pretend like that didn't happen. No, it does want me to take that off. Weird. Okay, that's really weird. I hope I don't break this thing trying to remove this piece, though. Just wiggle it slowly, it will come out. Okay. Alright, that wasn't so bad. Okay, so this piece goes in here now on the opposite side of the gear shaft, so there's one on either side. And it captures these little gears in place, and it's going to make the wheels turn, I'm guessing. So I have to make sure that both of these capture the teeth of the gears on either side. And it's pressed in all the way. I think that will do it. Okay. Okay. So those are locked in place now on either side. And I guess I don't need this piece. I guess that's just for no reason. Okay. Okay, time for the wheels. So I need A8. Oh, these are the little pads. They go on the wheels. Oh, that's cool. That's what these are for. So the wheels actually get little, like, padding on them. That's amazing. Cool. Okay, so that's all of these things, I guess. So there's 8 and 11. So this is A8. It's one of these little wheel doodads. And it really wants me to cut off the pieces there. And then I guess I take this and I put the pads on it in alignment with these little, like, indentations right there. Okay, so I gotta pop out all of these guys. Oops. Okay, so I'm adding little squishy pads to the wheels of my rover. Like that. Oh, that's so cool. It even gets, so they even thought of, like, how the little rover was going to gain traction on the ground. So yeah, these go all the way around on the wheels. That's so cool! This is like the coolest kit ever. I'm so incredibly impressed. Again, this was under $20. Just to reiterate that, this whole, like, complex little, like, gear, rover, solar powered, motor, everything was like 1,800 yen, which is like 18 bucks roughly. It might even be less. I don't even know what the exchange rate is. It was easier to spend money that way. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is the coolest thing in the entire frickin' world. So these go on C4. Have I punched out C4 yet? No. Okay, so that's 8. Okay, I need C. That's this. These are these two things right here. So I guess I need... Which one is this? C4. Wait, no, that's not that. Or is it? C. Already did. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that is. Okay. Maybe. Or is it different now? Doesn't matter. C4. Roppongi. So how are you guys doing, by the way? Yeah, it does make them look more like... It's more rover-esque. I dig it. Right. Okay. There. Okay, now for the left one. I don't think I've ever been more satisfied with a little kit. I'm really bummed I didn't get the hydraulic one now, because that probably would have been kick-ass. I have to go back to that toy store just so I can buy that other rover, because then this guy would have had somebody to play with, and that would have been awesome. I would have had 2 completely different rovers that were solar powered from 2 different kits, 2 different stores. I could have, like, set them free to go play in the yard. Polis Squalus, you're hot too? It's hot here. Like, we did our first kiddie pool night on Friday, which is a tradition that we partake in every summer here in Las Vegas. Me and my friends, well, Mark fills up this kiddie pool that we have, and everyone comes over on Friday pretty much the entire summer once it gets up in the triple digits here in Vegas. And we sit pretty much all night and drink in the kiddie pool every Friday. And traditionally we get like tube meat, like hot dogs and summer sausage and stuff, and we eat that. And last year we hooked up a TV outside, like we dragged a big ass flat screen TV out and watched, I think, Ghost in the Shell, the new one, which was awesome. So I think we're gonna continue that tradition as well. I think Mark's gonna actually find a more suitable solution for bringing a TV screen out there to watch in the pool outside, which is decadent, but I don't know, totally worth it on the hot summer days. There. That's awesome. So cool. Sure. Okay. So, and then these go on, I think it says the front hub here. Tampopo, if you haven't yet. Okay, I'll add it to the list. Tampopo. So these little guys go on like that. Didn't snap that on. There, okay. There, so it's got a little arm. It's a rover arm. Ah! That's so cute! I'm in love. Okay, time for the next arm. There. It has arms. It's like... Oh my god, I love where this is going. Okay. Oh man, more wheels. Okay. Okay, so it basically just wants me to cut out the rest of these and then add pads to all of them, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then I'll figure out where they go next. Well, I know where they go. They go on the part that's connected to the big gearbox on the inside of the rover. Fuck. This is so cool. I'm so excited right now. Like, the child me is filled with so much happiness right now. Like, I'm gonna go in the kitchen and eat a drumstick after this. Like, this has been more pleasant than any Lego, like, adult Lego experience that I've had in the past, like, X amount of years. Because Legos, like, generally, like, unless you get the fancy Legos, they aren't mechanical. And they're expensive as hell, right? Like, nothing that has cost me under $20 has brought me this much happiness in years. So I'm geeked right now. Hello, Polly. John. This is a cute little rover. I'm like super impressed with it. I'm bummed I didn't buy two. I'm bummed I didn't buy enough of these to give away as gifts to like everyone I know. Noodle? Noodle can't wait to meet this guy. So my plans for the rest of the evening are simply to work on the computer vision stuff with Mark once he gets off work, because all that command line shit like scares the hell out of me, and I like having his encouragement while I do any of that, because every time something doesn't work, it's like, why? I don't understand. I don't know what to do, but he does for some reason, so he helps me do all the troubleshooting. So I think my next stream, now that I'm back in the swing of things and I feel on top of my life again, my next stream is going to be me creating the repositories for the computer vision stuff that Noodle's going to be doing in the near future. So the plan is I'm going to oh god. The plan is that I'm going to you have to collect like what, like upwards of at least 100 photos of each thing that you want to train the thing to recognize. So I'm going to start collecting images of Fisty, his stuffed animal, and I have enough of myself, but I'm probably going to need to get a few more of Mark and Tony, and then create like repositories for both of them. And I'm going to basically create the libraries in which Noodle is going to reference for all of his recognition, which should be fun, because, I don't know, it's kind of absurd, like taking pictures of weird objects at strange angles all day long until you're bleeding out of your nose, till I'm bleeding out of my nose. But, that's what I'm gonna do. Because, yeah, even though Noodle's gonna be alone in the gallery, I don't want to have him be entirely alone. He's gonna be with his stuffed animals. So people can, like, pick them up and show them to Noodle, and he'll be like, yay, I know them. And then he'll react in a way that is appropriate for a child seeing something that brings it happiness, or the experience of familiarity. And then, I'll be happy. Because that's like, this is one of the big ticket list items that I've been wanting to do for Noodle for a good minute, is have him actually have the input portion, the seeing and recognition working. Because this is going to have a big role in everything else he does. Because all of the behaviors that I'm creating for him for his feet, like the tasting feet and everything, those are going to only be used when he has a reason to use them, which is going to involve the input, and the input is his vision. So him seeing something that he recognizes is going to influence what modules he uses in his feet. So it's like the input and the output. And I've been focusing primarily for the past like couple years now on just the output. And it'll be good to make actual headway on his vision and recognition and decision making. This is also, Noodle's going to be making his own decisions. He's going to be deciding, he's going to be thinking and deciding whether or not faces are mommy, which is super exciting to me. Okay, I'm almost done with all this sticker nonsense. Looks like I have 2 extras, or I forgot to put 2 on. Okay. Alright, all the wheels have been padded. And they go on these things. I'm just going to pop them on. And those mate to the tiny gears. Very satisfying. Yeah. That's awesome. I just made a rover. It's not done yet, though. There's like more complicated stuff right here. Look at that. What the hell is this? Oh god. What is this? Okay, it wants me to cut out B7. I think I'm not... This. B7. Okay. Okay, instructions. I can do that. Oh, these are its arms. B7. And then let's cut out A1, which is it's 2, this one is 1. So I'm making little robot arms. Okay, this is now my favorite thing I bought in Japan. Sorry, Ox. I still like your color changing neat and all, but you lack the mechanical bits to satisfy all of the neurons. Okay, B1 wants me to put stickers on it. They're cute little stickers, by the way. That's totally not straight. Fuck. Fuck. Ah. Probably good enough. Come on, Sarah, you can do this. Interesting. Cool. Uh-oh. In my limited experience with image processing, I would guess our Raspberry Pi is not powerful enough to do face recognition, although you might be able to use multiple Raspberry Pis and find faces the second to identify. Plus, using a 720 Raspberry Pi camera, how many pixels will make up face? I think what we're gonna try and do is just Noodle's going to have effectively like a cloud. Me'll do the processing on like a legitimate computer. He'll just be using the Raspberry Pi to like stream what he's seeing to the computer, and then it's going to be doing the majority of the work. At least for now, I think that's the plan. So I'm going to try and get it working on my computer first with the photos that I collect and stuff, and if I can even get that to work in the way that I want it to work, then I'm going to worry about how I'm going to jam it into his head. If it's going to get jammed in his head, or if it's just going to be something that he has assistance on. Okay. So, zero arms on. Alright, and then I need A12, it says. A12. And A12. There are multiple A12s. Oh, God. All right. Is it the correct thing, or is it something else? Mm-hmm. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Basically, do that on both sides. That's what it wants. So I can put his little arm on. There. So he has an arm on one side, and he's gonna have an arm on the other side in about a second. Yeah, I don't think I've bought something for under $20, again, that has been this rewarding in a good long time. If ever. I don't think I've ever bought anything for this inexpensive, spent this much time assembling it, and felt this good the entire time. Trying to get a nice tight seal with the sticker so it doesn't peel off, since it does wrap around your little arm. I think that should be good. And then I guess it's just rinse and repeat. So that's on. Put out this guy. Man, I wish I would have gone to the Gundam plant. I bet you they had a ton of cool kits there. I wonder if they're any less expensive from the source. This guy. Okay. Yeah. This is so satisfying. Wow. Okay. And then you go here. And you have arms. That's adorable. Wow. Alright, next page. It's coming down to the thing, to the end. Oh man. Oh wow, this thing has modes. So this thing's actually a switch. Wow, that's impressive. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but it's insinuating that there's modes. It's implying, not insinuating, it's implying that this little thing on its butt is actually a switch, which is pretty awesome. Okay. Ah, its eyes. Okay, so these are its little eyes. Why am I picking up the scissors? So the eyes. No. just gonna cut everything else out. Okay, so C10 and A10 attach. There's C10 is this little piece right here. That's that guy right there. And then A10 is his head. It's kind of Wall-E-like. That might be one of the movies we watch in the kiddie pool this summer. It's been a good minute since I've seen Wall-E. Tokyo subway song. Gotta change up my ringtone. Yeah, I know. I hate my ringtone. I don't know how to change it. There. So these little orange doodads, I think, are in his eyes. Like that. Noodle, you're gonna have a little friend. You guys can talk about going to Mars together. You guys can share your secrets. There. Aww, Noodle. Nice. Ah. There. So now I need this fancy thing finally. This like clear fancy plastic piece that's in its own bag. So I guess the head mounts entirely to this, just on the top. There's like this little nipple right here, and it's telling me that this guy right here goes right there. Oh, don't break it, Sarah. Okay, so that's on. Easy enough. And then there's this thing right here, which I guess is for his little antenna dude, which is the last piece. It's the orange radar thing. Radar satellite, whatever. It's a dish. It's his little rover dish. It goes right here. Oh, something missing. What's missing? B3. What? Oh, it goes in here. Okay, that makes sense. So this guy goes here on top. This is possibly the coolest thing I've ever assembled. It's far cooler than anything that I've ever attempted to make. This is cooler than all the robots that I've designed and put together. Because it's tiny and it's precise, and it probably works really well, and I'm impressed as fuck. Wow. Here, let me show you what I'm looking at. This is awesome, guys. Thank you for sitting here with me and keeping me company while I put him together. Here, let me pull back. So he's got the front wheels are both independent and they go up and down. So I guess you can like, whatever, go over different surfaces. And then the back wheels, both of them kind of can rock back and forth. But whether or not they spin is based on the gear shaft that they're both connected to in the center. So the wheels can move back and forth, but then like spin independently only if the thing wants to go forward. I have absolutely no idea what the big complicated thing up here is supposed to do, that big planetary gear thing. That might just be for looks, probably. I don't know. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the gearbox on the inside that's moving the wheels and attached to the actual motor that's in the back here. I have no idea. But it looks cool as hell. Like, this is, like, I guess his little arms come out. Yeah. There, like that. So now he can, like, he can grab stuff. Oh god, fuck. Okay, don't do that. Don't break the thing you just made. Okay, so his little arms can go out like that. Like, he can grab things. I guess these can go up and down too. Yeah. There. He can do a dab. This is the coolest thing ever. He's like, Noodle. Noodle says that they're gonna have a slumber party tonight and they're gonna tell each other secrets and become best, like, BFFs forever. And they're gonna talk about how they're gonna go to Mars one day and they're gonna tear that shit up and make tracks in the dirt together. Yeah, I need to come up with a name for this thing now. Like, I brought something into the world and it needs to be named. It's so cute. Here, let me do my downward facing camera. Here. Oh my god, is there anything else I'm missing? I guess this is supposed to have modes. I'll probably pull out my phone and translate what the modes are supposed to do. I'm guessing forward and back or something. I don't know. I can't imagine it doing anything else. It's not like there's a circuit board attached or anything. But yeah. So his little solar panel goes up and down and back, and that's again attached to this motor right here, and that makes the whole thing do. Wow. That's it. That's this guy. That's exactly what that looks like. I should pull his arm out. There. These little chicken wings need to be out and up. There. Robot had little chicken wings. There. He's like, ah, Mom. That is so cool. I am super satisfied with this. Here, the bull and the rover. This is like weird. This is like macabre ox and little rover again can be friends now. Except he can't rove because he's attached to a motor. So I guess I just have to put him in front of a light source and wait until he's ready to do. I can try that. Like, if I take him outside, I'm curious if his wheels will start spinning or what the deal is. I mean, I guess that's how solar cells are supposed to work, right? If they get food, then they go. I don't know. I've never used a solar cell before. That's awesome. All right, I've got these stickers left though that I didn't put on the thing when I was supposed to. Hopefully, I can still access those areas. Okay, let's put the rest of his little stickers on. Okay. I gotta come up with a name for him. I think it'd be too cliche to name him Sunny. It's supposed to be his butt, I think. Yep. Call him 0.5. Oh, short circuit. There, he's got his little tramp stamp now. Number 5. And then what else? Well, I don't know where the hell that's supposed to go. I don't know where any of those are supposed to go. Oh man, where in the instructions did it say these are supposed to go? Because it's not super apparent. I do not see. The raptor did not follow instructions close enough. So 8. Ah. Oh, it even has little caution stickers. That's so cute! They say, like, caution. There's, like, other caution stickers. Oh god. Where do those go? Ah, okay. Ah, yes, it would have been easier to put those on at a different point in time. Close enough. He gets more little tramp stamps. This is amazing. Man, I'm gonna have a beer after this to celebrate the birth of my new friend. These are the tiniest stickers. Holy crap. Okay, so he's got his caution stickers are on in like relatively the same place in the back. Okay, and then I'm guessing he has those on the front too? Probably. That would make sense. Where do those ones go? There's all these stickers that I like neglected to put on when I probably should have. Crap. Wait. Where are the sticker indicators? Damn it. Do you see them? I do not see them. I'm sure they're in here somewhere. I don't see it. Alright guys, I can't find the sticker thing. I mean, I can like guess where they go, but I'd like to know where they're actually intended to go. So those are the butt ones. Where are the other ones? It's on the last page. I don't see. I guess we'll never know where your tramp stamps are supposed to go, little guy. Yeah, I don't see it. Bummer. Okay. I can guess. Unless you guys are seeing it. Oh, I totally had soju. Who said that? No red triangle with hand crushed by gear warning? No, that would have been awesome. I should print out my own though and add it, since there are a lot of gears. I did have soju. I went to this, like, I went to two authentic-y, I say authentic like I know, but I went to these two very like Japanese restaurants while I was there. One was a smokehouse where I had a bunch of smoked fish that were cooked over a pyre of this certain type of straw or hay or something, and they had this very like specific smoked taste that I've never had before, but it was amazing. And then I went to this other like more traditional, like it was kind of like teppanyaki and sushi and everything else. It was just like they had all of it, and it was in like a pit with the private rooms along the top with the sliding like doors, so you could kind of like see people doing stuff up above you in their little private shadow box areas. And I went there and I had soju there with my first bowl of ramen. So that was a good experience. And that was on Shibuya Day, or Monday. I went and I got my soju at like 9. Like I was on my way back to Roppongi for the day, and I was like, I saw this restaurant that was on this artificial like hill on the corner, on the main Roppongi Hills street. It was called the restaurant was called Gonpachi. Not that anyone will remember that, but it was really good. Like when I walked in the door, they handed me a highball and they're like, "Here, have a complimentary cocktail." And then they sat me down at the bar, and I was like, cool, I was just gonna look at the menu, but fuck it. And it turned out to be really good food, so who can complain? And I was tired. Yeah, I don't know where these stickers are supposed to go. They're gonna go on my face. I guess I can put the little caution stickers wherever I want. I mean, I'd like to know where sticker 1 and sticker 10 were supposed to go. Like, I'm gonna go on a limb and guess that sticker 1 is in the beginning of the instructions. 1. Maybe? I don't see it. I don't see it. It's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll do some forensics and figure out what and how. And I like how this piece right here, this piece was like only included 4 ease of construction. So this held certain things in place while you were putting stuff in around it. So this was kind of a neat addition, because like it doesn't actually function in the final robot. So yeah, this was made entirely for helping you assemble stuff. It was like helping hands. So it's kind of cool that they included that. Wow. Last I heard, soju outsells sake, and I prefer soju. It was good. It was like I had a salted plum soju thing. It was good. I don't know. I don't know what I had the last night because I don't remember. I was out with the 2 Australian dudes. I had a cocktail that was a Roquefort flavored martini, and that was like probably one of the best cocktails I've ever had in my life. And I've had a lot of cocktails. I'm from Vegas, but this thing was like amazing, and I love cheese, so it was like a cheese flavored alcoholic beverage. So if I could find the name of the bar that we went to, I would go back when I do go back. But alas, I do not remember where I was. As all adventures should end. I'm guessing this guy's the red. Did the red go on the gear? No. Mm. Stickers are not allowed to fall off. Alright, guys. I feel like I'll try if I can to get footage of him functioning outside. Like, Mark is going to be home here in another like hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. Once he's home, I'm gonna go outside and have a beer with him, and in the hot afternoon Vegas sun, I will try to get this guy running, and I'll probably come up with a name before then. But for the time being, I don't know, I'm gonna call this stream Dunzo, because I've succeeded in doing what I set out to do, which is bring life to my little friend that I picked up at Tokyu Hands in Shibuya. But yeah, I'll have to pack and head to the train. See ya. I'll see ya, Chris. Yeah, I do have to try soju straight over ice. I've got stuff to do when I go back. Alright, guys. Thank you for sticking around or just popping in to say hi. I know it's been a while since I've streamed last. Like I said, I've been trying to get my life back together. Not back together, but yeah, kind of back together. I've been trying to sort out everything for the rest of the summer, and I've had new developments happen while I was in Tokyo and immediately upon getting back. So I've got new quest objectives added to my quest log. Noodle's going to be learning how to see things pretty much absolutely for certain in the next like 6 weeks, up and coming, and I'll be streaming a lot of that progress because it's been kind of comical so far, if not frustrating. But yeah, until I start working on those facial recognition and stuffed animal recognition libraries of photos and other stuff. I don't know. Thank you for keeping me company, and I don't know. Here, I always link the same things before I take off. If you aren't already part of the Discord chat, then join us. It's super cool. It's a bunch of cool people hanging out talking about making stuff. So as always, if you like that sort of atmosphere, then by all means come hang out. And oh yeah, I always forget to say this, but if you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do things, consider throwing me $1 or $2 on Patreon, because I'm like immensely broke now, and it would be appreciated. As always, I hate asking for money, so I'm done with that. Alright guys, Ox, here, let me sign off the proper way. Ox and yet to be named Rover say have a nice whatever time of day it is for you. These guys are gonna be besties now. Spirit cow. Alright guys. I'll see ya. Take care. And thank you for joining me.